guys, this is going to be a video about the character painting process. So if you look at the previous videos, you'll see that there are many different ways of painting a character. Right here I'm just testing my brown. You might have seen in a previous video some brown fails. I really wanted her to have like a brown skin tone that is a little bit more yellow than my own, for instance. If you want to mix a brown, it's simply all three of the primary colors, so red, yellow, and blue, and then you'll make brown. But then how you want your brown to look, you might add a little bit more yellow, like I did with this one, or you can add, I guess to get something that's more similar to my own skin color, black, if you have a black gouache. If you make your own, you know how to do that. Just add all of the colors above, right? And then green, and you'll pretty much like, actually red and green will make a black for you. But if you mix everything, you'll probably make black too, so. Alright, so I started off with a lighter color, and then I'm going back in, and I'm kind of approaching this like modules. So I start off with the lighter color, and I'm laying down, or I'm kind of bricking in the darker color, and I'm mixing it off on the side. And I'm changing my brushes quite often. You will need probably a lot of brushes, or you'll have to continuously washing your brushes. I like to paint by color. So say for instance, if I have like one color, I think I'm mixing probably pink right now, and I'll go ahead and I'll mix that medium pink for like the hair, and then you'll see that I'll either go lighter and I'll add, or I'll make a darker pink by adding a little bit of blue, and then I'll also go ahead and make some kind of a darker, a lighter pink by of course adding white. So I'm leaving white space where I'm going to put highlights, so I don't paint white there, not quite yet. I usually use white for highlights at the very end. And here you are seeing me blending wet on wet. This is not a clean brush. This is one that's preloaded with a darker color. Slightly darker, I think you can see with the camera. And then here I am mixing a darker pink or purple color for her leggings. I wanted to make sure that I am playing with maybe two different colors here. So my main colors are going to be red and green. So I'm using variants of those things. So pink, and then later on you'll see that I am going to use green for the skirt. I really didn't plan out this character's coloring or anything. I'm just kind of going for it. But a really good way of making sure all of your colors are working is by simply going through and making all of your colors kind of monochromatic, or the same of the, or variant of the same color. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm hoping that if I go ahead and just use variants of pink, so taking the pink and then adding a little blue to it. I believe I'm not quite sure, but I think I added a little bit of green to get that darker color, and I'm blending it down. That's a clean brush. think that's a clean dry brush that I used there. And then also you can see the thickness of the paint. So I made sure that I prepped this with, and please check out the other videos about kind of deciding how you want to prep your drawing for this. I just simply use a workable fixative to seal the drawing itself, and then I put a matte medium on top just in case things get a little wet. That helps with pilling as well. And here's my idea. So because this is a Little Red Riding Hood kind of knockoff, I don't know what you want to call it, or type of character, I'm just going to go ahead and give her a red hoodie. So this is actually pure red with no other colors added to it. I'm just using the red itself out of the bottle and then water. And I'm lucky enough that this red has kind of I feel like it has almost like a magenta kind of feeling for this pure red. I don't know why. And then I'm just going through and making sure I can get as close. I have kind of a big brush for this. And I do recommend using larger brushes for larger areas. And then you can see here I am going with a clean, wet, smaller brush to kind of bump the edges to get them closer to her face. I'm not too worried about the line work being covered up right now because I'm going to ink this in the very end. Again, using the same color, so I'm using the same exact color on her boots as her shirt, which makes it a lot easier. And I think I talked about this in a previous video where we're talking about character design, but for this, you know, colors can represent different types of characters, right? And if you chose this character, you know, it's Little Red Riding Hood, I want red to be a hero color, where a lot of other type of emotional color, like if you think about what red might represent to people, like blood or passion, this is going to be that passionate red hero color. But of course, like, you know, you could probably use this for another, like a villain or something like that, but it makes a lot of sense. It's Little Red Riding Hood, gotta break out the red. Alright, so I'm leaving those little buttons on her boots or whatever they are, little straps, visible, and you can see here that I am building color based off of the same thing. So, you know, I start off with pink, I have a pure red, I did a variant of kind of a maroon, it looks like, for her stockings, and I wanted to make sure that there was some kind of darker color in the middle to kind of ground the image. And now I'm going in with a pure green. I think I added just a little bit of blue to this, and you'll see here that it's just simply a little too wet for me. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try and clean that up, just a little bit of a paper towel, and smooth it. Now, when you are painting, you may want to choose different brushes for different things. I like to use like a curved brush that also like a nice flat brush as well. But when you use flat brushes, you use them mostly for flat areas. Filberts, you can kind of, and that's the kind that has a bit of a curve in the middle. They look kind of like a both. I really quite like using filbert brushes and round brushes. Those are going to be more of a detail oriented. I use them for blending a lot. This is a filbert that I'm using for most of this. I like the idea of being able to kind of sneak it into rounder corners. And then also, because it's more of a flat brush, I can go ahead and use it for like big areas, color those in easily. Now I'm going in, and I think I got a smaller brush for this. I think this is just a regular round brush, and I'm going in with a pure yellow, which is just yellow with a wee bit of water, like not even a lot, like a smidgen. So you can kind of see where I'm at with my color wheel. So now you can see that I am kind of shooting for this like red, green, yellow. I wanted something vibrant that, I mean, I know that red is vibrant, but I wanted to make sure that it really pops this yellow. Now this is me going in with white, and then I went back into the pink for the hair. And every now and again you might want to use I have a spray bottle of water, and or just simply do a little drop on top of your gouache to keep it activated, because it dries really, really fast. When in doubt, go back for the same exact colors, even things out. So she has green eyes. And then I'm going back in with some darker colors of the same colors, so adding blue to my red to kind of create like this purple. I think I did that. To kind of give it a little bit of like the shading portion. And by now this jacket that she's wearing, or this hoodie, should be pretty much dry. So it's not going to be completely wet. So I'm going for kind of a cell color to this. And what I mean by cell color is like kind of the cell style that anime uses a lot of times, where there are highlights, midtones, and then you have your darker shadow areas. You can see here that I'm applying, I've decided to, instead of going for a pure white, I'm mixing it in with a little bit of the pink, but the consistency of the paint is still going to be very opaque. I forgot to add some kind of shiny bits to her hair in the front. I don't know if I like that, but and then I'm gonna go ahead and really, really lightly, with kind of an angled brush, lay down some shadow. And the reason why, and I know that this shadow is going in the wrong direction as far as her, like, I guess hair shiny bits are going, but for the most part, you can see that the shadow is coming from above the character. So underneath the hair, her chin, I want it to be like the sun is hitting her from the top. And then I guess I got a little illustrative with the hair shine, but I want to be able to ground the character. Now I'm trying to see if I can thicken up some of this paint. And I don't know if this is a good idea or not. When it dried, it actually looks really nice. But I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more green. And I wanted it to have a thicker application for the paint. So going in with a flat brush, trying to fix that. And then I think I stopped because I felt like I was really messing with it. So I'm just like, okay, I'll wait until this dries, see how it goes. Going in and making sure I add some dark parts to the inside of the boot, so she looks like she's wearing them. And they're not like a part of her feet. And when I get into the inking portion of this, I will go ahead and make sure that even looks even more solid. But you can see by just adding some solid colors underneath the boots, and then also kind of in the inside of the boots, inside of her chin area, trying to fix this up. Go ahead and figure out where the shadow is being applied. So I've decided here that it's coming from above. And because of the features being so small, I'm not going to go forward with some of the shadow on the inside of her face. I'm going to go ahead and just lay down some dark lines for that. Okay, so that is that for the painting process, using kind of a flat color gouache for this, and I'll see you next time when I ink it.